Hello everyone, this is Sara from the Kahani Suno with Kabir and Sara podcast. कैसे हैं आप लोग आज? Before I started, I just wanted to shout out to Kabir for his newest innovation of translating his English story, The Forbidden Truth, into Hindi. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, what a great narration. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of Kabir's narration. I believe he's a true storyteller. And I think he leveled up another level with this Hindi translation wherein he translated the forbidden truth into Hindi and narrated it in such a way that it captured my imagination all over again. I knew the story, but still, his Hindi narration, the way he went about doing that, and actually listening to it in Hindi was a different kind of experience altogether. I loved it, Kabir. For those who have not checked it out, please do so. I think this is being embraced hugely, and I'm so grateful that Kabir does these experiments with the podcast that help us grow bigger and bigger. We are huge at this point, guys. I think we are number 25 in Indian podcast and around top 50 in US. Not a mean achievement considering we just started out like 4 months ago. So we'll talk more about it when Kabir and I discuss. But for now, I want to be as innovative as Kabir and try to come up with something that I haven't done before. Though when I started writing, I have always been a writer who wrote longer series, like 4 or 5 or more parts. But being in a podcast, and also I realized that short story writing is even more challenging. So I took to it, and I think I do good at it too. But I think my real strength lays in these long narrative stories. And I'm going to try that again with this new story that I've come up with, which is called The 9 Lives. And this story, as you can imagine, would be 9 episodes or more. So I'm going to start narrating the part 1 of this series, which is called Pookie. So let's get on with it. 9 Lives, part 1, Pookie. Meow. That broke my reverie. That meowing felt off, like the cat was in trouble. I looked around. It was cold, dark, and wet. Hardly the kind of night that a living thing should be outside, and that included me. I was not sure what I was doing, walking in this dark alley by myself. I was deathly scared of cats since the time I had read Alice in Wonderland all those years ago, and this black Cheshire cat would appear out of nowhere, grin, and make Alice's life even more miserable than it already was. Meow. The meowing got more urgent. There was no one around. It seemed like the world existed for the cat and me, both troubled, in danger even. The cat had the luxury to be able to vocalize its misery. I didn't even have that. Suddenly, I heard a noise, like some cans tumbling over. That's when I saw it, a black cat. The same color as Alice's Cheshire cat, its back turned to me. Thank goodness for that. I wasn't able to see its grin or its scary teeth, which had been the subject of many a nightmare for me. However, I saw an even scarier set of teeth. A huge dog stood in front of the cat, snarling, its canines on full display. Well, Arya, what are you going to do now? I asked myself. I mean, technically, I did not have to do anything. Not like I loved cats or dogs for that matter. I hated them equally. I could just slink away like I heard nothing and saw nothing and simply do nothing. But of course, Arya has the uncanny ability to dive headfirst into trouble. And of course, I had to sleep that night and the night after and the night after that. I knew I would drive myself crazy thinking of how the dog might have shredded the kitty to pieces, and I could have prevented that. If there were ever an overthinker prize in the world, I would win it by a big margin. I was overthinking a situation that had not even taken place. I tried picking a can up. The darn thing was so light that I don't think it would have even traveled a few centimeters had I thrown it. Fortunately, the dog was not aware that the can was empty and stepped back. That was enough for me to exaggerate shooing it away. Sure enough, my bravado seems to have worked, and the next moment I realized that the dog had left the alley. I was feeling pretty proud of myself before I realized that the dog could come back any time. I tried to beat a hasty retreat towards my house. I've had enough excitement and more than enough of domestic animals trying to be wild. I started walking faster, pulling the flimsy sweater around me. Truly, Arya, what possessed you to step out on such a god-forsaken night wearing next to nothing? I had just wanted a breath of fresh air, she protested. Don't ever do such silly acts of stupidity, admonished her. Luckily, the apartment was not too far away. I looked at my watch. It was almost 11 o'clock. I wondered if Mom might have called me. I could kick you, Arya, right now. Arya said nothing back. She knew she was in the wrong for forcing me to take a walk. For those who haven't realized, Arya is my alter ego, the one who talks to me when I have no one else to talk to. Well, she could have just opened the window, but no, she had to step out in an alley to catch fresh air. Well, did she realize she could have made me caught up in more trouble than I already was in? I picked up pace and finally exhaled when I reached the front door. I fumbled in my purse for the keys. Where were they when I needed them the most? Arya, you need to be more careful putting stuff in the purse, especially if you're heading out into the night all by your lonesome. At least make sure I can find the keys easily. At least I put the keys in, Arya shot back grumpily. That's when I felt it, something rubbing against my feet. I froze. This is not good, Arya. This was simply not good. I did not even dare look down to see what it was that seemed to have taken a liking to my sweatpant-clad legs. Meow, came the reply. I knew that meow. Had the Cheshire followed me all the way here? I looked down and sure enough, there it was, rubbing against my legs, like they were its own personal scratch pad. Shoo, I said, stepping back. Meow, it said, coming closer. I looked around to make sure that the damn dog had not followed this persistently meowing cat. The tone of the meow suggested otherwise. It was much more relaxed now. Like, I don't have a home, would you have the honor of adopting me kind of meow. I restrained myself from kicking it out of my way. There is a hidden desire among human beings to feel needed. It gives us a high, and I could feel exactly that. Arya, you don't even know if you're allergic to cats. How would you take care of it? I'm not allergic to cats. I've been around cats all my life. Having stray cats visit you on and off is not exactly being with them. Adoption is not a joke. It comes with a lot of responsibility. I'm not talking about adopting it. I'm just going to take it in for a few days and then maybe drop it off to a shelter or something. I gingerly picked it up. It purred softly, digging itself into my sweater. Poor thing was shivering. I made a makeshift bed for it using a spade blanket, and it curled up contentedly and promptly fell asleep. I looked at it for a minute. I wish I could curl up like that and drift off to a far-off land where I didn't have to worry about where I could meet the rent for the month. Whether the impulse purchase I had made that month for $100 would land me in a financial mess. This had been my life for the past year as I navigated life in a foreign country as an international student. From thinking mostly about getting A grades and the boys in my class, I was now forever doing calculations in my head. Rent plus utilities plus phone bill plus transportation costs plus books. Would we make it, Arya? There was no one I could borrow from. All my friends were in the same boat as I was, and I never wanted to inconvenience my parents with loan requests. As it was, they had moved heaven and high seas to send me here for higher studies. I had managed up to that point, but this month was going to be tough. Living alone, away from your loved ones, trying to lead an independent life, pursuing your dreams, it's not as glamorous as it is made out to be. I know we hear people talking about how hard they work to get where they are, the difficulties they went through, as if they are bragging about them and making it seem like a fairy tale come true. But believe me when I say it, that when you are going through that period, you are forever wondering if the pain is worth it, and if relief is at the end of the tunnel, and would the tunnel ever end. Suddenly I felt tired, very, very tired. I lay on the sofa, but I couldn't go to sleep. I could hear the soft purring of the cat as it twisted and turned in its sleep. The day's happenings kept going through my head. I had walked early to the grocery store, which was about a 15 to 20-minute walk from my house. The rain had let up for a bit, and I made a dash for it. Saturday was the only day I could get things done outside, and on Sunday I had to take care of things inside the house, finish all my assignments, and have all my lessons as a teaching assistant taken care of for the week ahead. While the rain had let up for me to get to the grocery store, the damn thing started coming down in torrents and kept coming down for a long while after. It seemed to stop for a bit and I started my dash back home. I was 2 minutes into my walk when the cloudburst dropped everything it had. I was stranded and tried to find shelter under a tree. It wasn't much of a shelter, though. I wasn't sure if I'd get soaked more standing under the tree or by walking. It was during that decision making that I saw a car pull up to me. This is what I hated the most, the fact that I looked so pathetic that people would stop to help me, especially nasty old men who seemed to have a penchant for spotting us distressed damsels from miles away. I was ready to shoo the help away when I saw someone familiar. "Need a ride?" she hollered. Sania, my senior. Her sister seemed to be with her too. She was in some of my classes. Well, I needed a ride, but wanting one was another issue. "Arya, don't be an idiot. Take the ride." "Yes, please," I said, getting in the back seat. I was very wet, and I felt red in the face as the water dripped on the leather seats. "Use this," Sania's sister said, handing me a towel. I didn't even know her name. I was not big into talking to anyone. I simply didn't have the bandwidth or the interest for it. Sania, I knew from work because I was her assistant TA. "Thank you," I said, hesitantly, drying myself with it, and sat on it. The rain seemed to let up instantly as I got into the car. I cursed the rain gods under my breath. Looked like someone up there wanted me to get on this ride for whatever reason. The reason became apparent at the end of the ride. I was trying my best not to get too much into a conversation with the girls. There is an unwritten rule that people in better positions are supposed to act nicely and be good to us poor international students who were looked at like we are orphans and needed help. That was fine and dandy, but I'm not particularly fond of the period after taking their help. "Ek ehsan karna mujh par ki koi ehsan na karo" was my philosophy. Thanks, I tried to beat a hasty retreat. "Arya? Okay. Do you girls want to come for coffee or something?" I asked, hoping against hope. "We would love to, but we're in a sort of hurry." I suddenly felt very bad that they had been kind enough to offer me a ride in spite of being busy, and here I was being so ungrateful. Should I insist? "No, Arya, why would you want to slow them down more?" "Sani is getting engaged today," her sister spat out. I looked at Sania. Yes, she was looking very different, radiant and happy. Her face suddenly got redder. Was it blushing or embarrassment? I couldn't quite say. "Congratulations," I said. I needed to get out of there. "Thank you, Arya. Why don't you join us tonight?" Darn it, too late. Oh, please do, Arya. It'll be so much fun. And our house is close by. We can pick you up if needed," Sania's sister insisted. "Yes, Arya, please come," Sania said sweetly. I looked at her and realized she meant it. Sania had helped me out a lot in the past year. She had always told me to give her a call if I needed anything. She had helped set up my apartment, referred me to the assistant TA position, and helped me to get up to speed with everything. There was no way I could refuse her invite. "Sure thing, Sania. I shall be there," I heard myself say. "Thank you for the ride, especially at such a busy time for you. Please don't worry about me. I shall find my way there. No issues," I told them. I stepped out into the sunlight streaming through the dark clouds. "I told you, Arya, to wait a while longer, but you had to come home right away. You have no patience, do you, whatsoever? Now go find a dress you don't have and then make your way into a strange home with strangers celebrating an occasion that, frankly, might not even be a cause for celebration." I did attend that party that night. I wanted to see if I could make an excuse, but then realized that if I could get Sania's position, the constant financial calculations in my head could take a break. That meant I needed to be extra nice to her. To be frank, the party was not that bad. The food was particularly awesome. It seemed that after a long time I had been able to eat real food. Sania's parents were really nice people who made me feel at home. Sania's sister seemed to have taken a liking to me, and for once, I didn't mind someone following me around. It would have been really awkward to just be by myself. All in all, it was an enjoyable experience, and I was thankful for being a part of it. Arya was right. I needed to stop being so uptight about everything and just go with the flow sometimes. But as I took my leave and declined their insistence to drop me back and stepped out, that's when it hit me like a load of bricks. I had seen Sanya and her now fiancé hug and kiss and look at each other with lovey-dovey eyes. I knew him. I had always seen them together in class. They seemed to have time only for each other, always joking and laughing around, always doing things for each other. It all was coming back to me. They were so cute together, so much in love, and now that love seems to be on the path to culmination. Sonia had looked so radiant, but more than anything, she seemed so content. I looked at her with her parents flanking her sister adjusting her jewelry, and her would-be in-laws and husband near her, and I realized she seemed to have everything I lacked. How wonderful it must be to enjoy your youth like she seemed to be doing. To do the things that a young girl should be doing, falling in love, shopping, getting ready for her engagement, graduating, and marrying the man of her dreams. In sharp contrast, here I was, fighting it out in a strange country, away from the people who loved me, trying to see if I would have enough to eat at the end of the month. Arya, you have never been in love, have you? Not even close, nothing to look backward and forwards to. Just a long, dry, and arid desert. That is how I felt my life was turning out to be. That was when I had found Pookie. That's right, I had named the cat Pookie. I turned towards it and it was startled to see that it was staring at me very intently, its ears raised up, its big fat tail swaying from side to side. Goodness gracious, Arya, this thing is not crazy, is it? You always land me in trouble. What am I supposed to do if this thing attacks me? Adopt a cat for the night, indeed. I felt like this was the night I would be history. Did cats kill people? No, they don't. I don't think I ever jumped so high from a sitting position. A talking cat. I couldn't decide which was worse, a killer cat or a talking cat. I know I wasn't making sense. Oh, please, enough of your dramatics, Arya, Pookie said, curling its tail and sitting. Pookie, you can talk? If you can hear me, that means I can talk, right? She said, starting to lick her paw. Arya, what is going on? Am I dreaming? Did I turn into Alice? I kept staring at Pookie. Don't be so shocked. Talking is the least of my talents. Well, you weren't quite talking when I saw you on the street. I would have never. Now you know why I didn't talk, the cat said simply. I understood what it had meant by saying talking was the least of its talents now. So why the hard work now? I asked. Why are you even talking? Well, I wanted to thank you. Thank me for what? Thank you for saving me from that monster of a dog. I really thought my time was up. There you were, like an angel. Well, I didn't mind this talking cat at all. It seemed like a much better version of the Cheshire. Before I could blush and say it was nothing at all, Pookie continued. You know how they say that a cat has 9 lives. Well, I think I have lived all of those lives. As I said before, this was my 10th brush with cat, and there you were, snatching me from the jaws of death, giving me what I think are another 9 lives. Oh, wow, really? I was feeling good about myself. Well, yes, really, and as a token of appreciation for what you have done, given me the gift of another 9 lives, I would want to do the same for you. What do you mean? This was getting weirder and weirder. Arya, you're so dumb, you surely must be dreaming. I want to give you the gift of 9 lives too, the cat continued. 9 lives? Yes, 9 lives, and before you ask me what that means, let me explain. Yes, this talking cat really liked to talk, it seemed like. You will have 9 chances to change your life. That is, whenever you feel like your life is getting too tedious and you want to change something about it, then you could wish for it and it will happen. Not immediately, but it will very soon take a turn towards what you desire. What? My jaw dropped, and the drop seemed to be getting bigger and bigger as the cat continued to talk. I kept quiet. Who knows, interrupting it might make it change its mind. It seemed to give me not 1, not 2, but 9 boons. I wasn't about to jeopardize this stroke of good luck. Nothing this exciting has ever happened to me in my life. It's strange, Arya, very strange, isn't it? Strange, weird, or downright fantastic. I was not going to do a thing to make it normal. Normal had become too boring. So you get to choose the life you want to lead 9 times. However, remember that though you're free to choose any life that you want to go to forward, once you choose it, you will not be able to go back to the life you left backward. So be very sure when you make that decision. There won't be any second chances, just 9 lives. 9 lives? I didn't damn need 9 lives. If I could better this one life, that would be enough. But I was not about to say something stupid like that. When you get something so huge, just accept it with a smile, even if you might not need all of it. But who knows? Now you may talk, the cat said. Arya, close your mouth. You're gaping at that cat like a fish. I. Funny, right? Looks like our roles have been reversed. I can talk, and you can't, Pookie said and flashed the grin that I so dreaded like the Cheshire cat. I suddenly remembered that's how the cat would disappear, its smiling teeth vanishing in the end. I didn't want this boon blessing cat to disappear without confirming its boon. Thank you so much. I really don't think I did anything that deserves this big of a kindness. You don't want it? It asked. Oh no, I want it. I want it more than anything else in the world. Great, done deal then, it said before disappearing, its swaying tail vanishing in the end. I sat there staring at the comforter I had used to construct Pookie's makeshift home. That made it real to me. I had to be very careful what I wished for. I sat there staring at the comforter I had used to construct Pookie's makeshift home. This made it real for me. I had to be very careful what I wished for. So I sat down and tried to see what was about life I wanted to change the most. What was it that bothered me the most here? Was it the finances? Was it the hard work I needed to put in? No, Arya, that is not it. What bothers me the most is the fact that I don't have anyone to share my life with. I had always envied my girlfriends who would talk into the night with their boyfriends. I would watch all those romantic Bollywood movies with yearning and longing to have a love so great that it would fill every gap in my life. Sania's engagement had brought that longing to the fore. That is what I was going to wish for. I wish to change my life at this point to a life that gives me a man who loves me and whom I love. There, I had done it. But nothing happened. No flash of lightning delivering a young Shah Rukh Khan look-alike at my doorstep. Instead, I could hear the pitter-patter of the raindrops on the roof. Highly disappointing, Arya. It did say that things won't happen immediately, that it would be soon, but not immediately. Maybe I just needed to be patient. And I was, for that night, for the next day, for the day after, and for the week after. I wondered what soon meant. Would have been great had Pookie told me how many days it would be. Soon I was once again battling the day-to-day life that I had almost forgotten about, the cat and its 9 lives. Then it happened, the phone call. Arya? Yes, I answered. Arya with an I? This is Arya with a Y, he said. It was like the world stopped moving for me. I could not believe this was happening. Arya had been my classmate in college. 4 years we had studied together. There would always be confusion in our names, and so everyone had started saying that Arya with an I and Arya with a Y. Of course, our names were linked together, and I admit I had a crush on him, but nothing had materialized from it. We had gone our separate ways. I had completely forgotten about him, and this was the first I had heard from him. Arya, finally, I can't tell you how long I have been looking for your contact. This is like the happiest day of my life, he gushed. My head was spinning. What was going on? It'll take time, but it'll happen. I heard Pookie whispering somewhere. Meow. End of part 1. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying the series. As I said, writing a series is way more fulfilling than writing short stories. Short stories are difficult to write. You have to be short. You can't glide with your stories. You have to be point to point. Sometimes it feels rushed. Like I wanted to say so much more, but that would make it into a longer story. So I have to cut it short. But the long series give you more freedom to say what you want in the way you want it. So I enjoy this series, writing this series a lot more, and I hope you do too. And once again, these stories, these series, whatever we narrate to you on Kahani Suno, are licensed. Right now, this story, I've written it myself. All the other stories that Kabir narrates, Kabir has written himself. All on listens to kahanisuno.com. And if you want to know more about or give us feedback or questions or whatever it is, please do email us, sarah@kahanisuno.com, kabir@kahanisuno.com. Thank you for listening. And I look forward to bringing you the next episode as soon as possible. Until that time, stay tuned and have a great day ahead. This is Sarah signing off.